Welcome everyone to the third video of Bleach Blood War Season 2. We're thrilled to have you here as we continue our adventure through the captivating world of Bleach. Without any more delays, let's dive right into the excitement of today's episode. 11th Squad Lieutenant Izane and Yachiru are talking at the makeshift treatment center, and when Gwenail Lee arrives and introduces himself, Yachiru punches him in the face. Suddenly, Gwenail vanishes and cuts Yachiru's shoulder. While Yachiru is searching for her sword, Gwenail tries to attack her behind. Yachiru then cuts his forehead. Gwenail is now surprised about the fact that he was unable to stop it. Yachiru then tells him that her sword is not just any sword, it is a special copycat sword. Then she once again strikes him with the sword and he gets injured seriously. As a result, Gwenail is not in a position to use his first superpower. Now he can't vanish. Meanwhile, when Gremmy is in the barrier, Gwenail comes to attack him, but Gremmy finishes him off on the spot. When Izane asks Gremmy to let go of the captains, he says that the captains have already been killed. Yachiru tries to attack him, but Gremmy stops her by breaking her arm. When Gremmy reaches her, she tries to pick up the sword with the other hand. The same thing happens to that hand too, as he breaks it as well. There he says that he has the ability to see dreams, and it is going to be fulfilled very soon. Meanwhile, Captain Zaraki arrives after sensing Yachiru's loss of stability. Gremmy then gets ready to fight with Zaraki and creates a huge stone castle for that. When Zaraki attacks him, Gremmy makes his body steady so that Zaraki can't cut his shoulder. Gremmy then tells him that his body is stronger than even steel. Despite his nonsense, Zaraki attacks him, and Gremmy falls to his knees bleeding. Zaraki says, Gremmy can never create anything he can't cut. After healing the cut, Gremmy says that he will not use a single finger to kill Zaraki, and that he will only kill him with his mind. After saying that, Gremmy sends him a lava fire, but Zaraki cuts it and destroys it. When Zaraki says that he is the strongest man in Quincy, Gremmy suggests that Zaraki should be squashed, and again he tries to attack him by bringing rifles this time. To continue the fight, Gremmy creates a clone and creates a large meteor to show his full power. Zaraki attacks the original clone, but nothing happens to him. Gremmy further explains that he is going to destroy Sayaraite and Zaraki, and in the end, he will be the only one who survives. However, Zaraki flies through the flames and destroys the meteor by cutting it in half. Gremmy creates several clones and creates space with their combined power, leaving Zaraki significantly injured. Later, Gremmy surrounds Zaraki with all his clones and explodes. Gremmy watches from below and sees Zaraki alive and wants to defeat him. As he approaches Zaraki, his body melts and collapses. Zaraki says the monster destroyed you because you made me a demon in your mind. As Gremmy lay in the rubble, he ran to Zaraki and told him he was desperate to win. Then his body explodes and his brain falls to the ground. In the past, Yuash became a young man by absorbing the souls of thousands of people. At present, Yuash sees the world in a disgusting way and says there is no turn back. Zaraki finishes the battle and goes in search of the missing Yachiru. When the team is told to look for her, he is struck by lightning. Lampard bites off the heads of several Shinigami there, and Meninas throws a rock at the bodies of others. As Zaraki lays still in the rubble, struck again by Candace's lightning, Ichigo comes down like a meteor, piercing the dark ring and sending Bambietta's allies into a storm. When Ichigo is with Zaraki, Bambietta and his group come. Ichigo fights them all. When Candace attacks Ichigo, his coat turns into ashes. Meanwhile, Iwak is looking from the Silburn Tower and confirms Ichigo's arrival. Then he invites Jugram and Uryu to start the party. Candace activates Quincy Volstanding and attacks Ichigo with 2 wings. Bambietta's friends activate their Quincy Volstanding, and after a good fight with Ichigo, Candace increases his power and sends a dangerous lightning towards Ichigo. As he stops it, a big explosion appears, and as a result, she loses her left hand and screams in pain. Then her friends heal it. Now Ichigo is surrounded and everyone is going to attack him. At once, a huge bright light appears behind. Yuach thanks him for being able to follow Ichigo's path to invade Soul Palace. When Akon questions about the sudden downfall of the Reishi level in Seirete, Nico says, "For now, there is a hole in Shakonmaku." Mayuri says that as Ichigo was able to come from the 72nd layer, that barrier was broken, and because of that, a hole appeared. He says it will take about 6,000 seconds to close that hole again. He further says that during that time, the door is open to go and come to Soul Palace. During the fight, as Ichigo runs towards the tower, his enemies try to stop him. That time Renji comes and saves Ichigo from the enemies and tells him to stop Yahuch. "I will take care of the enemies here." Ichigo again runs fast towards the tower, but he is shocked after seeing Uryu there. Ichigo asks him what he is doing with Iwash. Uryu doesn't reply to him. Instead, he sends a rain of arrows towards him. But Ichigo escapes as he gets help from someone. Later, when Jungram and Uryu go through the blue flame with Iwach, they are shocked. As soon as they start their journey, everything turns to rubble. Everyone has protected themselves there. Zaraki questions whether they will be allowed to go to the royal palace so easily. As Ichigo and the group worry about Uryu's behavior, Urahara arrives and takes them to the 12th Division, saying that he can give them a ticket to the castle. Meanwhile, Kuchiki realizes that the Quincy are targeting the palace, not the Sirete. When Renji and Rukia are safe, Bazbi arrives and offers to help them kill Uryu, but Renji rejects it and attacks him. Its furious Bazbi surrounds them and sets them on fire. Elsewhere, Ikkaku and Yumichika confront Giselle in the rubble. As Yumichika complains about the nature of her powers and that she might actually be a man, Bambietta arrives and bombards them. In the 12th Division, Urahara says that all the captains and lieutenants will fight against Quincy, and Ichigo can go back to the royal palace. Bambietta attacks Yumichika and Ikkaku, and after they ignore her attacks and attack her, she blows them up with a bomb. Meanwhile, Mayuri confronts them and is intrigued by Giselle's abilities, and a fierce battle ensues. Later, Giselle summons dozens of Shinigami assigned to Division 11, who are turned into zombies, while Mayuri summons Charlotte, Lupu, Chiruchi, and Dordoni. A fight breaks out between the two factions, and when Bambietta comes to attack Charlotte, he launches a massive attack on her. Meanwhile, Giselle concludes that Bambietta cannot fight Charlotte and win, so she summons Captain Toshiro of the 10th Division, and the fighters are shocked to see him. Thanks for watching our third video on Bleach Thousand Blood War Season 2. Your support keeps us going, and we look forward to hearing from you. So, we will see you in the last video of this season.